Randy, this is fancy.
Ready to go? It's obviously not my doing.
Oh.
We have our analysts in the back.
On the color.
Good morning, and thank you all for coming. My name is Sergeant Anileto, Media Relations Officer for the Lower Mainland District. We are here today to announce some significant developments in a number of sexual assault investigations that have taken place in the Lower Mainland since the beginning of the year. Speaking today will be Superintendent Mike Porteous of the Vancouver Police Department and Chief Superintendent Jody Boudreau, representing the RCMP. After reading their statement, they will address your questions. Also in attendance are Superintendent Brendan Fitzpatrick, E-Division Major Crime, Inspector David Hansen, Metro Vancouver Transit Police, Superintendent Stéphane Drolet, Operations Officer with Burnaby RCMP, Superintendent Chris Kennedy, Officer in charge of North Vancouver RCMP. Staff Sergeant Pat Riley, Detachment Commander, University RCMP. And Sergeant Lisa Byrne, Vancouver Police Department, Sex Crimes Unit. Before we start, I would like to say that please remember that the matters we will be speaking about today are before the courts. Therefore, we will be limited as to what it is that we can say. I would ask Superintendent Porteous to please step forward.
Good morning, everybody. Starting in January of 2016, Lower Mainland police forces began to see an increase in violent sexual assaults where offenders were targeting women in our communities. Within a relatively short period of time, police in Burnaby, North Vancouver, the University of British Columbia, Vancouver, and on our transit system recognized that these violent crimes were not going to be solved by ordinary means or without a concentrated effort by all of our agencies to support the victims and work together to identify these offenders. Part of the challenge that we had was that we were looking for a small number of offenders, men, who were victimizing women in a number of communities across the Lower Mainland. During these violent attacks, the men would use the element of surprise to harm others and then flee. In some cases, police were relying on a small amount of evidence left behind. Police and crime labs meticulously combed through forensic evidence, knowing that even the smallest clue could lead us to an offender. Investigators worked closely with the brave women who came forward to report the crimes, often sharing difficult and often horrific details about the trauma they experienced at the hands of another person. We engaged support services in the community. We knew that without their assistance and support, many of these women would be reluctant to come forward. Police employed a variety of investigative techniques, many quite advanced, including crime analysis within our agencies, as well as the behavioral science units within the RCMP to analyze years' worth of data, offenses, and offenders to narrow down our search. We worked with the Real-Time Intelligence Center, or which is called RTIC BC, which was active in doing intelligence checks on all the suspects in these investigations and ensured that any information was shared quickly among British Columbia and Canadian law enforcement agencies to help identify suspects. Police officers from across the province were brought into the investigation, and our frontline officers on the street were tasked with thoroughly reporting on any activity reported to police that could help us identify an offender. No call was too small. Detectives looked for potential witnesses, video from surrounding neighborhoods, and tips from the community to develop an offender profile. We relied on the media to help us warn the public and there were predators in our communities, to watch out for one another and report any suspicious activity to their local police. Police built on investigative partnerships and detectives from the Vancouver Police Department, RCMP E-Division Major Crime Section, the Burnaby RCMP, the North Vancouver RCMP, the University RCMP, and the Metro Vancouver Transit Police officers shared investigative theories, evidence collected, and potential offender profiles. We are ready to, as always, to go through any length to find such offenders, hold them accountable, and stop future assaults from happening. I'll step aside now and let Chief Superintendent Boudreau speak. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you, Superintendent Porteous. My name is Chief Superintendent Jody Boudreau, and I'm the Operations Officer and the Assistant District Commander for the Lower Mainland District RCMP. Over the past 3 months, a number of high-profile assaults against women, the majority sexual in nature, have taken place in the UBC endowment lands, Vancouver, North Vancouver, and Burnaby. These terrible, unprovoked crimes justifiably scared people, and those living and working in these communities clearly expressed their concern. As the police departments in the region, the RCMP, the Vancouver Police Department, and the Metro Vancouver Transit Police, we committed to tackle the issue using all appropriate resources. I am pleased to report that, to date, 6 individuals have been arrested and are facing numerous charges. Jason Anthony White, 45 years old, has been charged with assault, break-and-enter, and breach in relation to an April 7th offense that took place in Vancouver. Michael Popek, 36 years old, has been charged with 4 counts of sexual assault and 1 count of break-and-enter for offenses that allegedly committed on March 26, 2015 and April 9, 2016 in Vancouver, and on February 18th and March 6, 2016 in Burnaby. David Singh Tucker has been charged with 3 counts of sexual assault, causing bodily harm, and 3 counts of robbery, 3 counts of confining a person, and 1 count of break-and-enter and commit indictable offense, robbery, and 1 count of disguising face with intent to commit indictable offense in relation to an April 30th incident that allegedly took place within University RCMP's jurisdiction. Yonji Gao, 23 years old, has been charged with 1 count of break-and-enter with intent to commit sexual assault for that same incident. Vaughn Englot, 32 years old, has been charged with 3 counts of sexual assault in relation to incidents allegedly committed in North Vancouver on January 12th and January 19th, as well as in Vancouver on January 15th. And a youth, who cannot be named under the Young Offenders Act, has been charged with 2 counts of sexual assault, 2 counts of indecent act, and 1 count of assault in relation to incidents allegedly committed on March 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th in Vancouver. In all but one of the incidents, the assaults were committed individually. While we are pleased with the results of our investigations thus far, we have to acknowledge the impact these incidents had and are still having on our victims. We commend them for their courage in contacting police and providing investigators the evidence needed to ensure these offenders are held accountable. We are committed to helping these victims navigate the judicial process and hope that in time they will find some measure of resolution. These arrests come as a result of interagency cooperation that you see here today, the dedication of frontline officers, and assistance from the specialized resources such as the RCMP Behavioral Sciences Group and the Real-Time Intelligence Center. Just as important, though, is the assistance we receive from the media in sharing important information and images, and the tips we got from the general public. Finally, we thank the public for the engagement they have shown by attending some of the various community safety events held throughout our region. It is so crucial to have the public support and awareness on these very serious issues. Without that support, we may not have caught these men as quickly as we did. I would like to stress that these men are charged with very serious offenses, and while we are pleased that these individuals have been charged and are being held accountable for their actions, there are, unfortunately, still a number of unsolved offenses that we are actively investigating. If anyone has any information regarding an offense, we urge you to contact your local police department and share that information. As police officers, we would also ask that if a person sees something suspicious, feels threatened, or have been victimized, to please contact the police as soon as possible. The sooner that we are aware, the sooner we can investigate and guide victims to available support services. Today's message to offenders, or would-be offenders, should be loud and clear. Violence of a sexual nature, or any violence against persons, is not tolerated by law enforcement agencies, nor is it tolerated by the public. Those who prey on others will be held accountable. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now take your questions. If you can perhaps identify yourself and which agency you're with. And Superintendent Boudreau, our Chief Superintendent Boudreau, and Superintendent Porteous will answer your questions. And actually, maybe I will, perhaps Lisa can, Lisa, if you can step forward, please.
Thank you. My name is Lisa Byrne, and just with respect to Jason White, yes, he was arrested out at UBC. He is actively under investigation for the file that he has been charged with. We are following up, so it is an active investigation, so I can't really comment on his arrest. At this time, we are keeping an open mind to unsolved cases both in UBC and the rest of the Lower Mainland, and we certainly will be looking at him and others for those offences.
Go ahead.
Is there any indication that Tucker and Gav were connected to the three recent assaults at UBC, whether you're looking back to 2013 string assaults that happened then?
I can tell you that we are still actively investigating any open files, and we will be looking at them and others for any other files, but I can't comment on any specifics other than the charges that are before us today. The two, and I believe that's in the release you got, the two of them were charged for the same offense, but I'm not aware of any connection otherwise between the individuals.
Okay, and you say that there's a number of offenses that remain sort of unsolved or still looking. Is there any idea of how many exactly?
I don't have any numbers for you, but you know, it is a community safety concern, and as you're aware in our society, we do get these reports you know, to the police, so I can't comment on the exact number, but they're all taken seriously, and I think, you know, for everybody in the community, whether you're a mother, a father, an individual, female, male, gender not specific, it's very important to keep everybody in the community safe, and that's why we encourage early reporting. I can tell you that in files like this, early reporting, gathering evidence is very important.
What's your message to women? Obviously, these are scary situations, as you said, public safety concern. Women out there who may be worried about this or maybe were victimized and haven't stepped forward.
Well, my message to women that may have been victimized and haven't stepped forward is we would encourage you to come forward. I think it's very important for us to get these individuals off the street. We do have a number of support agencies that are supporting victims of all types of crime. We have very good partnerships with victim services and many other agencies, and we have the support for you. So I would encourage any women, men, any victims of these crimes to come forward.
What do you say to the public who might feel frustrated that at least a couple of these guys have a list of serious convictions in their past? They served time, they were out. Sometimes they were sent to jail for a day and then released again. How can the public feel safe knowing that these guys continuously are released and really go away for a long time?
Well, I think I can comment. As you know, we put the investigations before the court. That is our role, to do a thorough investigation, provide the best evidence possible, which is also why timely reporting is important to us. We put those forward to the courts, and the court decisions are not ours. I can't comment on who might have a past history and who might not, but this is our role, is to put the charges forward to the court and for justice. Go ahead. Well, you're right. We know that not all victims of sexual assaults come forward, no matter what the gender is. So we are actively investigating these individuals and any reported sexual assaults we're aware of, and we will bring any charges forward that are possible. We are asking any victims of violence or sexual violence to come forward in any time period if they have something to report to the police, and we have the support in place to look after them.
So some of these calls show some geographic patterns. Some of them are localized, and two of them seem to be in different cities. This Michael Popek is attacking people in Burnaby and Vancouver, and Mr. Egloff is attacking in North Vancouver and Vancouver. So I wonder if you could tell me, what does that pattern tell you? Are they living in one location, traveling to the other to commit crimes?
Brendan, or who wants to comment on that?
I would ask Lisa to
Comment on that?
Yeah, for those two particular offenders, we did notice that they were living and committing offenses in different cities. That's why our multi-jurisdictional approach was so important, and we liaised very well with our RCMP partners. And going forward, we will continue to liaise with them with respect to offenders who cross boundaries. I can't say. I can't get into their operating mind. I don't know. It's just a pattern of moving around the city. I think there's nothing that we found in our investigation that lends me to believe that it was something that they had planned. Yeah. Just because it's an active investigation, some of that background history, unfortunately, I can't share with you right now because it is before the courts, and some of the background does provide evidence in that case. So, unfortunately, I can't share it with you right now.
Almost all of these guys seem to be in court for violations, like driving violations, driving without a license, and that type of thing. Were they ever flagged in the system at that point? Any of their arrests for driving convictions lead to any arrests for sex assault?
Not that I'm aware of, no. All of the cases, when it involves a stranger attack with a level of violence, are high priority in Vancouver. So at this time, we are having several active investigations, but I can't give you an exact number. I'm sorry.
Do you have arrest dates for the most, I guess, any of these people, especially what was the most recent arrest on this list?
Yeah, I think Tucker was probably the most recent arrest on this one.
Tucker and Gal. Pierre, you had a question? Mr. Martineau, did you have a question? I thought. No? Okay. Any other questions?
They're all stranger assaults, so the police knew any of the attackers?
Yes.
I'm left wondering what it was that actually cracked the case. I know you've gone to the Real-Time Crime Center, and I guess that's some technological wizardry to explain this, but can you give me a layman's understanding of how it was that these people who were previously unknown and unknowable were actually caught?
Yeah, you have to understand these cases are before the courts now, and we're simply not in a position to release any more information. So we thank you all for coming today. Thank you.